So on English 12B this week, we're going to be working a little bit with wrapping up what we started last week and making sure our first draft of our college essay is done, as well as doing some work with logical fallacies, which you probably have no idea what those are, which is just fine for the time being. So I'm going to go over the agenda real quick. It shouldn't be too bad, and then we'll go from there. Boop, there we go. So here we go. In-class agenda, the plan is as such. We're going to obviously start with discussing the article you guys were asked to read last week on grits over grade and vice versa. So when you get in, wait a couple minutes, you watch this video, what have you, and then hop on the Zoom for your class. We're going to be discussing the article for about 30-odd minutes. Hopefully, just kind of walking you guys through what a Nonfiction Friday or whatever new title incoming is going to look like on a normal basis. So we'll go over that. After that, you're going to be kind of putting together your first draft of your college essay. Now, hopefully you've completed the personal reflection story, and hopefully you completed the personal reflection. And it's really what I want you to do isn't too tough if you've already done those two things. I want you to just pretty much take that story, put it in a new document, take that reflection, and put it right underneath. So you're going to copy paste this bit, copy paste this bit. Then what I would like you to do is read through the whole thing. You obviously need to put probably a couple transition sentences in there between those two parts to connect them. But I want you to kind of make those two into cohesive whole. So read through it. If there's anything you're rereading, I guess doesn't really need to fit, cut it out. If there's some parts that don't really match with what you're going to add later or that you added out later in the reflection bit, cut them out, change them, do what you need to do. When you're done kind of gluing these two together and editing them together, this is going to work as your first draft for your college essay. And I'm going to look over these once they're in and get you some feedback and talk a little bit more about that on the next week's video. So that's what we're doing as far as in-class stuff. When you're remote, okay, the first thing I want you to do is you're going to generate a list of Nonfiction Friday, like it says here, new name incoming, topics. Basically, I don't want to pick the topic every week. I want to be like, or every week, every time we do it, I want to be like, hey, go find an article on this item or this thing that you guys chose. So I'm going to ask you to make a list of, I don't know, I don't have a specific number, but maybe at least 5 things that you actually care about. If you can try for that. If you have more, great. If you have less, I'll take it, but try and get up there. And there's little instructions here on what I'm looking for that you write. Don't just write down like 5 words and call it a day. Give me a little bit more about it. Remember, make it an arguable topic, a discussion topic. So don't just say cars. Like, great, what about cars? We should all have trucks. Okay, that's an argument. How could we look that up? What is the argument that you want us to look up? So once I get all these, I will take a look. I'll break down by period and by cohort if I can. So that way we're having discussions that are relevant to the people in your cohort. So if period G cohort 1 really wants to talk about peanut butter, and period C cohort 2 really wants to talk about thermometers, then we can do that. Okay, so just get those in, and I'll take a look at them there. The last bit here is logical fallacies. Logical fallacies, are a tricky subject. So what I'm asking you to do here is you're going to be assigned 2 logical fallacies to do a little bit of research in, to become familiar with, to become, I don't want to say experts on, but become comfortable with. And I would recommend you read this through. It'll walk you through what we're doing here. And you're going to essentially create a very brief 1 to 2 slideshow presentation for each of those 2 logical fallacies. So in total, 2 to 4 slides. That explain these and go over some of the pieces that we could use to teach your peers. All the expectations are listed out here. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on this. You're going to see a chart that looks very similar to the one that you guys did for your ad assignment. That's going to have birth month in the far left and then a pair of logical fallacies to the right. So use your birth month, line it up, figure out which logical fallacies to research, and then go ahead and do a little bit of research. Figure out what they are, figure out what they mean, and try and come up with an example or 2 about each of the 2 you have. Hopefully, by really narrowing it down to just 2 of these, it won't be too confusing, because it can be. This was really a tough spot for seniors last year, but seniors last year got thrown about 15 of them at the same time. So you're only doing 2, so hopefully it's going to be manageable. If not, well, we'll deal with that when we get there. And I'm still in the process of putting this agenda together. grades, those are actually old, so don't worry about that. But that'll be updated by the time you come in here. Basically, everything needs to be done by the next class period, which would be probably, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Let's see. Uh, by middle next week. So what is that? Wednesday, Thursday next week. Okay, before we go all remote. So please be aware of these things, and we'll go from there. And like I said, the rest of this document will be updated by the time it's posted tomorrow morning. So hopefully that works. And then obviously the schedule gets a little screwy upcoming week, so we'll talk about that a bit more in class. But if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you when I see you. Thanks.